YouTube. So this is my iPhone 4S, and I've gotten it a couple months ago. I know I'm a little bit behind the times, but because I have a new iPhone, I'm always watching what's on my iPhone videos, and I thought that I would show you guys. A little bit of warning, I do go through my phone fairly regularly, and I'm filming this kind of as a before tour, before I actually go through and remove a bunch of stuff I don't use and reorganize it, because my phone is definitely due for something like that, but I thought I would show you. So I'm really out of practice holding my camera, so I warn you that this might be a little shaky. So this is the white iPhone 4S, and then I just have like the regular screen there. I'm going to unlock my phone and come back and show you guys what's on it. So I have 4 pages of apps. So the first page is utilities. Second page is sort of my main page. Third is my first page of games, and my fourth is my second page of games. And just to show you guys, I have 4 things in my dock: my phone, my mail, which is my main personal email. Then I've got Safari for internet, and messages, which is my text messaging. So I'm going to scan you guys back to the first page. So on this first page, I have a lot of things like stock apps that came with the phone, and then some new things, some that I love, some that I don't. So my first line, I've got camera, contacts, newsstand, and settings. Then I've got a line of apps. The first page is photography. So I've got Dash of Color, which I don't really use, My Sketch, which I don't really use. Photo Treats I have used in the past, just not recently. I don't do a lot of photo editing. So I've got Paint Effects Free, Be Funky, Pick Stitch, which I do use I like because it's got square frames, so it's perfect for Instagram. Instaframe Free, Perfect Image, which I like because you can choose your images and then it will automatically give you photo frames that those pictures will fit in. Then I've got Photos, Instaplace, and Fat Booth, which, as you can see, I have opened neither of those. Those are new to my phone. Next, I have a videography app, which I have Splice, which I use for photo or video editing on my phone, which I don't do very often. But I also have videos in there, and then video kits, which I haven't gone through, but apparently it is filming tips for your phone. Then I've got a time sleep folder, and this has got my clocks and then any like ambiance noises or alarm clock, that sort of thing. So I've got clock, which is my regular clock, world clock, which I really love because it allows me to look at different time zones all right next to each other. So it's 3:05 here, 4:05 in New York, 9:05 in London, etc. Then I've got the Uniqlo Wake Up app, which I don't use very regularly, but because they don't have a very good system for having it run in the background, and I'm always using my phone right up to when I go to sleep, so it doesn't work out for me, but it sings the weather to you when you wake up. And then I've got an alarm app, which I don't use. Sleep, which I do use fairly regularly. It's got 2 free ambiance tracks on it, and I like both of them. Do that fairly regularly. I've got AmbiSci 300, which I downloaded because my husband got a little bit annoyed at always listening to the same ambiance track. So I downloaded that, though, you know, haven't used it. Still using the 2 main ambiance tracks. And then I've got Radio Alarm, which I haven't used. I've got a weather folder, which has the Weather Network, which is my weather app of choice, but I've also got Soaring in there, and Weather, which is the stock weather app. Then I've got some finance app. I've got a Sales Tax Canada, sorry, talking is hard, which will organize sales tax for you. I've got Coin Keeper, which is a budgeting app, and then Mint.com, which I haven't used, but I heard suggested so many times, so I've downloaded it and I'll play with it come in the new year. Then my utilities folder is a mix of stock apps and not stock apps. I've got Compass voice memos and stocks, and then I've got flashlight, which is super handy. I don't use it very often, but it's so useful. Then I've got a scan app if I need to scan barcodes or things. Find iPhone, I just keep it in here. Parking meter, which will keep track of how long you have left on your parking meter if you set it up to. And then I Am Guitar, which is like a guitar playing app. Like, it's bizarre. Then I've got some reference apps, Chemtrix, Convert Units, Calculator, and iPedia Wiki, which I haven't used, but I've seen it. It looks really interesting, so I thought I would try it out. And then I've got Printer Pro, which I haven't used, but I like having the option to print from my phone, and it was free on App of the Day a little while ago. And then I've got WhatsApp, which is new to me, but was free on App of the Day a couple days ago. And then on this page, this is the page that I go to most often. So at the top I have Facebook, Foursquare, YouTube, and Songza. Those are 4 apps that I use pretty much every day, all the time. Those are my apps of choice. Then I've got a social folder with more social media sites, some of which I use and some of which I don't, so it would be really nice to have them organized so that I could find the ones I use and delete the ones I don't. But I've got Facebook pages, which I'm starting to get back into. I've got a couple pages, including a YouTube fan page. I will post that link below. I've got my Twitter, which I'm trying to get back into, Pinterest, which I'm using, and Tumblr, which sometimes I just go on there to look at things, but I prefer Pinterest just for my personal use. I've got Blogger. I do have blogs, though not things that I'm updating regularly, but we will see. I've got Skype, which I use if I'm calling, if I'm away and I'll call back to my husband or whatever. I've got My Likes, which I don't really use. Hootsuite, which is apparently a combination app for different social media sites. I need to play with that a little more. I've got Instagram, which I love. Primp, which is pretty in my pocket, I think. I haven't played with that much. And then Path, which is supposed to be a more personal social networking site, though I haven't really played with that. And then GiftBoom, which I don't really use. Then I've got a music and movies folder, got music, Netflix, 8 tracks, Shazam. Don't really use those things anymore. I used to use them all the time, so I might get back into them. I've got AudioTap, Gravitarium 2, TipSkip, and FoxTube. My travel folder is a little bit of a mess. I mean, YXE Flights doesn't even work. Airbnb I don't use. Waze I've never even barely opened. I use that Touch and Go app like every day, and I'm always looking for it. Maps, and then I've got Air Canada, which I use only when I'm flying. I've got Health and Food, which actually should be changed to these are just like health workout apps. So I've got my Fitness Pal, Yoga Builder, Period Diary, Couch to 10K, a jogging app, Design Your Own Body, 200 plus sit-ups, and leg workouts. I don't really use any of these apps, but I've downloaded them so that I have the option. We'll see. Then in the food folder, I've got Healthy You, which I kind of love because it's got monsters. Spinning Meals, All Recipes, Grocery IQ, My Shopee, my food recorders, I think what that one is, tell you when your food's expiring, and then Holidays, Food 52's holiday app, which I haven't played with yet. Then in stores, I'm in this folder fairly regularly, but I use like less than 50% of these apps, so I need to play with that, and my battery is dying. But I've got the Shoppers app, Starbucks, which I use fairly regularly, BMO, which is my banking app I use fairly regularly, Kijiji I don't use, Cineplex I don't use, Ticketmaster I don't use, Tim Hortons I don't use, Yelp I don't use, Sephora I barely use, Passbook I use fairly regularly for Starbucks and Air Canada. Staples I don't use, and Shopwise is one of my new downloads, and I have been using it. Education, this folder is got a combination of useful apps and games that are education based and some weird things. So I've got Goodreads, which I'll use occasionally. Audiobooks I haven't really looked through. iUSask, which is my university app. Sellbooks, which is a textbook seller for my university. iTunes U, which I don't use, but it's a stock app, I can't delete it. This is Mind Snacks French, which I have been playing with, and then Mystery Map, Guess That Flag, Weird But True, Word Float, and Go Go Kiddo I really don't use. In my inspiration folder, the only thing I use in here is the Olive Tree Bible Study app, which has got different versions of the Bible on it. But other than that, some of these are just in here for fun. Be Positive, there's a Habit Maker, light version, Mind Jogger, and O-Flow. And then this is my apps folder, which is I've got like things for downloading apps. So I've got App of the Day, which I use fairly regularly, App Store, which obviously I use, iTunes, which I don't use, but it's a stock app, AppsFire and Apps Gone Free, which I'll scan through if I'm looking for a thing, and then App of the Day Christmas Edition, which has expired and I need to delete. This is planners, lists, and notes. I've got calendar, planner, mom planner, do, tasks pro, clear, reminders, notes, lived organized, day plus, note record, STA pro. Oh my gosh, I don't use any of these apps. I really need to sort through because there's just too many of them. I can't even keep track of what I'm supposed to be doing. Then I've got G News and CTV News, neither of which I really use. Oh, sorry. And then this is my work folder, so I've got the website for the program I'm using, or for my job's website, like a quick link to it. iJobber, which is supposed to keep track of when I work, though I haven't been. GWiz, which I use to get to all of my other like Google things like the calendar and stuff, and then Gmail, which is my work email. And then my first games page, I've got Game Center, Words with Friends I don't use, Draw Free I don't use, Guess I don't use. My simulation ones, the only one I've been using regularly is the Hobbit one. Card games, I don't really use these except for Spider Solitaire I'll play occasionally. Actually no, I play all of these fairly occasionally. 100 Floors I haven't been playing. Arcade games I was playing for a while and then I just stopped randomly. Critter Escape, I just opened the app. I don't really play. The quizzes, I sometimes will play Logo Quiz Free. Tiny Tower I love. These are the other Nimblebit games, which I really haven't gotten into. Crossword Party is fun. Squares is new to me, and so is Ico Island. And then for my final page, I've got a whole bunch of apps. Like, I don't use any of these apps at the top. Zookeeper, Roads to Rome, Block Desert, Riddles app. These block games I barely play. These click games I barely play. Puzzle games, barely play. Adventure games are fun for a little while. And then these are some newer apps. Charlie Brown Christmas, Recycle Hero, Kingdom Rush, and Rudolph's Gifts. Though I really don't play any of them. So that has been my iPhone tour. I'm gonna go out and clean it all up, and then I will be back to show you guys more. See you guys on the flip.